first summer, I made 35 grand and won an Africa trip. And as a poor college kid, I was like, dude, this is awesome. Knock doors and sell bug spray and make 20,000, 30,000 didn't seem real to me. As long as you sold over 250, you were like one of the guys. You would go to the manager meetings. This job in this industry could be a temporary vehicle for a year or two, or it could be a vehicle to like living the life that you want. I'm making what the average American makes right now. Killing bugs gives you a lot of money.
All right, welcome everybody out to the DDD podcast with the Golden Door Deep Dive segment, where I, your host Roz, interview the Golden Door winners of this past summer and this past 2023 year. For DDD Con 7, I'll go over and interview their tips, tricks, whatever it took to make them a winner. So we're blessed to have in the studio Mr. Jake West, fresh from Pest Control Summer out in Colorado. So dude, how you doing?
Dude, doing good. Yeah, back from another summer. And
what summer is this for you?
I just finished number 8, so
summer number 8.
I'm one of the salty old dogs that sell pest control. But
dude,
yeah,
your summers are now able to be baptized. How do you feel about that?
My summers are accountable now. It's pretty crazy.
You've reached the age of accountability.
Yeah, it flies. I just thought I would, when I first started, it'll be a 1-year thing, and here I am going into my 9th summer now.
Wow.
And it's been awesome. So
that's great to hear. How old are you?
20. How old am I? 28.
28. So since
I turned 20, went into my first summer. So
turned 20, first summer. So how did you get into the industry then?
Like a lot of guys, just got recruited. Had a buddy. It was a mission buddy of mine that originally kind of got me into it. He's like, "Hey, come to the Aptive building. Come play
classic.
Come play basketball. Check it out."
Was that down in Provo?
Yeah. I had just gotten back from I served a mission in California for 2 years, and he was like, yeah, I made 30 grand selling pest control. I come check. So I kind of got me interested, and wasn't sure if I was going to do it yet. But then I had this other buddy I met at a wedding that was like, dude, come do it with me. I'm thinking about doing it. He said, what are you doing next summer? And I'm like, I think I want to sell for Aptive. But this was end of 2015. It was like almost Christmas time. I was like, I think I want to do Aptive. He's like, dude, I think I want to do Aptive too. Let's go do it together. I was like, sick, dude. Let's do it. Just thought I'd go try it once. My goal was to make like 10 grand, 20 grand. And that very first summer I made 35 grand and won an Africa trip. And as a poor college kid, I was like, dude, this is awesome. This is sweet.
Yeah.
So that's what got me into it. That's what started me out.
Living the high life.
Just living the high life, yeah, for a young college kid.
No, for sure. Yeah, when they show you like the pay stubs initially, you're like, there are two types of people. I think they're the people that think it's a total scam, or the people that are like, oh, I'm all in on this. Like, give me that.
It's usually one or the other. I was the one that was like, give me that.
Oh, 100. Oh, me too.
I was making $10 an hour, like moving 50-pound boxes in a warehouse. I was making like maybe $1,000, $2,000 in a whole summer. So I was just getting nowhere. Like anyone watching this that's in college or just even in general in this economy, like money goes fast, right? With rent,
goes so
gas,
fast.
housing, food, whatever. So I just felt like I was breaking even on life. So this opportunity that I heard about to go sell pest control, I'd never heard of that before. To go
nuts.
Knock doors and sell bug spray and make 20,000, 30,000, it just like didn't seem real to me. So I was like, it's better than what I'm doing. Let's give it a shot.
Yeah, I remember being in college the first time I heard about it, and it was like the guy telling me about it. He was driving a BMW. He was like, "Yeah, dude, I made like $50,000." I was like,
"We're like, no way.
You what? Like, and you drive that?" And like, I'm like, "Dude, go sign me up today," kind of thing. It's nuts, but so you have a very similar origin story to very many people.
Yeah, for sure.
But oftentimes we see a lot of guys enter into DDD, and then the second it gets hard, they dip out. What did it take for you to overcome that?
Just recognizing the opportunity for what it was. I mean, I saw an opportunity that like the harder you work, the more you make, and that has been extremely valuable to me. And like I'm at the point now where I could never go back to a 9-to-5 job just because I don't want anybody telling me like you're worth this much an hour. Like,
yeah,
like I found this opportunity where like, hey, I get to define what I'm worth. Like whatever I put my mind to, like if I go out and work way harder than I have, I'm going to make way more money today. Like if I want to go make, I did the math stuff, like some days I was making like $200, $300, $400, $500 an hour. And I was like, dude, this is insane. That never happens in a 9 to 5. Like this is what you're being paid type of job. So
Absolutely.
yes, hard, like to answer your question, so I was long winded, but like hard things happen, but I'm like, there's always that light at the end of the tunnel. I'm like, I know that if I just work my butt off and get over these hard obstacles or curveballs, I have 8 months off to, enjoy life, travel, spend time with my family, whatever it is. So like that blessing and that positive and that light outshines the hard stuff. That's what kept me going.
Absolutely. And it's powerful. A lot of people lose the bigger vision for that. They lose vision of the opportunity. Because like you said, you reap exactly what you sow. And, you could have a 9 to 5 job and put in 120% effort and for maybe to have a chance at like a raise later on.
Maybe.
And
then that raises like 5%.
Yeah,
so like
and then the guy next to
$1
you
an hour more
could be working at 50% capacity, and he's probably going to be making the same.
And
maybe
even
more.
Raise. Yeah.
Yep, and probably gets the same raise. So
Yep.
We're very blessed to be in this industry. The abundance is incredible. I mean, Zach Kinzel, I don't know if you know him from Grit, but yeah, he took me out on his Corvette. 23-year-old kid ripping in a Corvette.
So sweet.
And he just bought a house. So shout out, Zach. We love you. It's absolutely bonkers to see how life-changing this opportunity it is. It was life-changing for me. It was life-changing for Sam. It's life-changing for you. So,
amen to that.
Anyways, let's walk through your progression then.
Okay.
So 8 years of this, what did those summers look like? How did we get to Golden Door? Is this your first Golden Door?
Third.
Okay, so you're a Golden Door veteran.
One cool thing about, I guess, my story and my progression is I have progressed every year. So I've always, like a minimum goal in my mind is always to beat last summer. So for 8 summers in a row, I've gotten better, and next summer I'm going to do better too. So that's kind of been cool too, because some guys will have a big summer and then like they'll roller coaster it. They might get that one Golden Door and then kind of fall off for 2 years. But I just think the consistency and progression has been really cool to be a part of and make that part of my mantra. But I can kind of go through it through the 8 years if you want.
Yeah, what did you do? Well, let's go through at least the very first summer.
Okay, summer number 1, it was 2016 in Houston, Texas. So I sold 265 accounts. The culture's shifted huge in this industry, and you guys are a big part of that. The whole the Golden Door Award,
especially in pest control. Going from $3.99 average contracts to
whatever it is now. It's the culture's been awesome, but I don't know what was the first year the Golden Door Award was a thing.
I believe that was 2017.
I think it was. So that was the year after
2018, the first year DDD Con.
When I first started, it wasn't a thing yet. The culture back then was you hit 250 accounts, you're in the top 10% in the nation. You're a team leader. Like you win the free Hawaii trip or Africa trip, whatever.
The cruise.
For us, it was Africa, which was cool. So I was
cool.
I want to go to Africa. I think the rest of Aptiv did, like a Hawaii trip or something. But my regional was like, we're gonna go to Africa and be different. And I was like, okay, right on. So that pushed me to like get it. But once I hit 250, I was like, cool. I peaked. I'm at the mark, So
that was the standard back then.
That was like the standard for as long as you sold over 250, you were like one of the guys. You were like in the club. You would go to the manager meetings, and so first year I did 265, and then my second year I did 270 accounts because it was kind of the same thing. I wanted to beat last summer, but I didn't really have much to incentivize me to go beyond that. Like there was always those few guys that hit something crazy, but for the most part, it was just like 250 is the mark. 250 is kind of that's all I got to do.
That was the back when it wasn't the 4-minute mile. That was like the 6-minute mile. It
was just a 6-minute mile. Yeah. You were like the fastest man in the world, right? Basically. But
now then you got guys doing, 1,500, 2,000 accounts.
It's crazy. You're like, yeah.
Or 1,000 accounts at $1,000 contract value.
Yeah, the ACV is crazy. I'll get into it. My ACV this last year was 1,114, so 1,100.
Wow,
compare that
first summer
469. So I've almost tripled my contract value, which is just like mind-boggling.
How much of that is mentality?
All of it. I just feel like contract value is mentality. I mean, there's packages now that, at least at Active and Grit, because we're all kind of merged. There's packages that offer that help you hit higher contract value, but most of it's mentality. I think no matter what company you sell for or what's offered, like you can always raise the price. It's all mentality.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people have reservations about like a high contract value. They feel like they're not giving value to a customer. They think, maybe a first year rep feels like he's being scammy or he's being shady, charging quote unquote that much for bug spray. But what do you say to the guy that's trying to overcome that mentality?
Because I've been there. That was like my first 5 years of selling was like, if I raise the price, I'm going to get more cancels. Or I'm sure that's what you guys think when you are hesitant about it. But really, the data shows that it's not that big of a difference. Like, if you raise your contract value, say you double your contract value, yeah, you're going to have a few more cancels. Cancels, where the word is. You have more cancellations, but the amount of revenue you produce and like it's just worth it to always go higher. It always offsets the few extra cancels you'll get. You're going to get a lot more revenue and contract value that does stick. So the math is mathing if you just raise that contract value.
Absolutely. And do you feel like, so I come from Vivint where the old dogs they're all about, sell cheap, but sell a lot.
Volume.
So volume. Where, before I left, the culture shifted, or at least they were attempting to shift it into, it's all about, raising the contract value, the RMR, the monthly payment and whatnot. So you bring in like that gross revenue. Do you feel like that's kind of how it's been for you guys? Do you feel like it used to be kind of a more like volume based back in the day and now it's more revenue based, or how have you seen it change?
It definitely that direction, but I still feel like both is valuable. I think best of both worlds is having high volume and high contract value. But yes, if you have a much higher contract value, you don't have to sell as much. So volume isn't, like we used to always track it by volume, and then starting in 2021, so 2 years ago, Active started tracking it by just revenue only. And that kind of helped shift everyone's mindset to, revenue is what matters, not just number of deals. So, but at the same time, if you can keep your volume high and then just increase the contract value, that's how you're actually going to double, triple your income.
Yeah, so it's quality and quantity.
Try to do both. Like, obviously, quality is probably a little more important, but I don't know. Volume is still king at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Because if I sell, $1,200 contract value, but I only sell 3 accounts, or even just 100 accounts, sure, made some money, sure, generated some revenue, but at the end of the day, that's not
as much as the guy that sold 10, 20, 30.
That's not getting the golden door, especially.
And I'll get into it. My best day was 33 sales in one day. Wow. And I think
how many hours knocking for that?
What were the hours? I know I could have been longer. I think I stopped at 7:30 that night because it was a big tournament day. I just won the tournament, and my dad flew in to celebrate.
33, and you stopped in the middle of prime time.
Middle of prime time. If I would have gone till... I kick myself now. It's always the coulda, shoulda, woulda. But yeah, if I would have knocked till 9 or 10 that night, I could have had 40 in a day. And
easy.
Would have been insane. But still, 33 is my best sales day, and that was 2 years ago. And then this year, I sold 33,000 in one day in revenue. So... Wow. 33 is my lucky number, baby.
333. Let's go. And this is third golden door, too.
And my third golden door. What's up?
Let's go.
3 knocks.
That's sick. Oh, man. So much to go over with this, too. So
I know. It's good stuff.
Especially, with you being in the industry so long, what else have you seen change over the years?
Like... it's all kind of a similar thing, but yeah, with all this switch to revenue and higher numbers, there's just I think goals have just gotten bigger. And a lot of this is because of the Golden Door, and thanks to, Sam and your team for all implementing that. But now that the Golden Door Award is a thing, more people are shooting to hit that, where before it was a thing, a couple people might have hit it on accident or just because they wanted to hit a cool number. But the fact that there's so many Golden Door winners at Grit and Active and really a lot of companies, that's a huge culture shift. I think so and you see other people in the industry doing all these cool things, buying houses, buying cars, like buying their dream whatever, their dream vacations and stuff in their 20s. I think it just like it's the mindset of more people I think are driven and want to level up that are in this industry. They're not just doing it as a. I feel like when I started, everyone was there as a means to an end. They were just there for a quick 1-2 year and bounce, just get a quick money to pay for school and leave. That's kind of why I started. I was like, I just need to pay for school, pay for a wedding ring, pay for a couple things I need right now. But I've stayed because it's been life changing. It's allowed me to buy cars and houses and like travel to wherever I want and just kind of live the life I want to live. Like I have a wife and baby, and now I get to spend like.
Congratulations.
Appreciate it. I get to spend 8 months all day, every day with my little girl, which is like nothing. No amount of money in the world can like beat that, which is cool. So
how old is she?
She's 2.5. So
important age.
Important age. Yeah, she's a rascal. Her name's Ellie.
That's amazing.
So I just think there's a lot more of that too. There's a lot more like maybe family oriented goals, and I don't know, like this job in this industry could be a temporary vehicle for a year or two, or it could be a vehicle to like living the life that you want, which is cool.
Absolutely. I'm going to shift gears a little bit. Question I've actually never asked anyone on the podcast before.
Ooh.
Fiscal responsibility.
Yes.
Being good with money. Are you good with your money? Did you feel like you had to learn it? What's been that process for you?
I feel like I'm good with it, but I could be better. I'm not the best person to ask about that, I'm sure. Like, there's guys in the industry that like live way below their means and they invest literally everything, which they should. I'm kind of more, I definitely love to travel. My wife does too. So we like taking fun trips, and we just kind of bought our dream house here in Kaysville, Utah, not too far away, that like we love and we'll probably live in for 20 years. But we could have lived probably beneath our means, and if we were a little bit more fiscally responsible. But at the same time, like we try to save, invest, plan ahead, always have like we try to don't buy things unless we need it. Try to be fiscally responsible for the most part.
That's fair, and we all go through our own.
But I'm not the best at it. I'm not like that's not my strong suit. But at least I have a degree of that, yes.
That's fair. And that's important too. At least you're not blowing all of it.
Like, I'm not just blowing it on
a brand new truck.
Right.
You'll see the guys that pull up in the office with a brand new Raptor, and you're like, so like, do you have some investment properties paying for that?
You're like, no.
That liability you got
true.
there?
The nice cars I have are that I won from Aptiv, that I won from sales.
Yeah, I saw you pull up in a Tesla.
Yeah, so I won a Tesla in 2020 and a Lexus in 2021. And a Ford Bronco in 2022, but we sold that to be fiscally responsible to help pay for the house.
There we go.
So incentives are key.
But you
won
won all those cars though.
Yeah.
From competitions. That's incredible.
Pretty fun.
And that's something to speak to as well, because it's like you didn't blow your wad of cash on new cars, on liabilities, on things like that. You spent it.
Even though I wanted to, I'm like, a fourth car would be sweet, but do I need it? I don't need it.
The Tesla he rode up in was pretty dang sexy.
That night, her name is Mystique. She's that nice blue, the nice royal blue. So
nice.
I like her.
Mystique.
She's my baby. She's my Mystique. Yeah.
That's amazing. So, anyways, shifting back into Golden Door winning and the psychology behind it. What was the first year you hit Golden Door?
2020.
2020.
So, because it kind of ramped to, I hadn't heard of, you said it was about 2018 when it was established.
Yeah.
I hadn't really heard of it until, I think it was 2019, kind of the end of that year when I heard that was a thing you could hit. So 2018, you mentioned Dave Royce was your young men's league.
Yeah,
right?
Shout out.
2018 was the year, that was my third year. I was like, I want to at least level up. I was like, I'm sick of this kind of 250 number I've been hitting. I saw guys were hitting 400, 500, 600, 700 number of accounts. And I was like, why can't that be me? Why can't I do that? So I actually messaged Dave Royce on LinkedIn or something. And I was like, Dave, you probably don't know me. I'm just some team leader from your company, but give me some tips. I've done this. I want to double up. at least 30% better. Like, what do I got to do? And then he was awesome. He responded with a whole list of just stuff to like manage your time better and things he did when he sold 900 back in his day. So yeah, shout out to your boy.
Shout out to a little bit of backstory. So yeah, David Royce, the
founder of
Aptiv, young men's president of mine back in high school.
About that.
Didn't know who he was really. All I knew is that he had an enormous mansion with a bowling alley and a really sick pool, and we would do activities there. And I remember frequently asking him, dude, what do you do for work? And he just looked at me. He's like, I do pest control. And I'm like, no, you don't. I'm like this guy's.
Bugs.
I'm like, you're not. Like, one of my cousins is an exterminator, and he's not living in a mansion. I'm like, yeah, you're not that. And then once I get into the industry, hear his name around, I'm like, oh, yeah, that 2 + 2 = 4 in this situation. Yeah, it adds up.
Killing bugs gives you a lot of money. Dave Royce is the proof of that, right?
Yes, we're abundantly blessed, of course.
Abundantly blessed. But that's what kind of sparked my, okay, Dave believes in me. He was awesome about, and then I'm going to hold you accountable, which was really cool of him to do that. He's like, at the end of the summer, follow up with me. I'm like, oh, shoot, I have to sell at least 400 accounts or I'm going to let Dave down. So then I kind of shifted gears, and I had just graduated college, too, at that point. I have a professional sales degree, by the way. That's something different.
Where'd you go to school?
Weber State. They have for those that don't know, it's like a super highly rated sales program. It's like the number 2 in the nation, number 1 in the West for just like sales. They have 60 credits of sales classes. I was like, this is sweet. Because I was originally going to be a doctor. That was my plan. I was pre-med. And then that first summer, me and my buddy that were both kind of pre-med were like, dang, if we keep doing this, we'll make what doctors make and not be in $500,000 of debt and all that med school stuff. So after I went back to college after that first summer, and I was just like, I need to get out of this med program. And I don't have that same, I was doing it to make money. And I was like, if I can make money, think smarter, not harder. If I can make money doing something like selling pest control door to door, that's awesome. I don't have to go to all that med school and residency and start making money in my 30s. and my whole 20s, I'm just living on top ramen and struggling. And I mean, struggle is good, but if you can avoid it, that was my mindset.
The thing is, you look at it like the struggle, the 4-month struggle of the summer, and the immediate reward after. My dad actually is a cardiologist, and he tells me he
does awesome. I'm sure, right?
Yeah, he does. He does great. But again, it's it took him years to get to that spot. He'd always tell me when he was in med school, he would make ketchup soup just to get by because he didn't have anything hardly to eat. And it's wow, it's the same amount of work for, honestly, a bigger reward if you stay in the industry.
I think so.
And then a more immediate award.
And definitely more immediate. That's kind of what's gotten me to stay. So
yeah, and I think another point of this too, which is interesting that I kind of just thought of, is a lot of guys getting into the industry, they don't look at it like that. They don't look at the work ethic that's required for it. They just think, oh, I can get in this thing, I can make a quick buck. But if you treated it like it was an opportunity, like you were going to med school, like you were going to college, with that level of study, that level of preparation,
intensity, commitment. Yeah.
Imagine how much better if you treated it like it was your professional career. How much better you're off doing that rather than treating it like it's just a regular summer gig.
That'd be crazy difference. Yeah, if everyone did that.
Yeah,
but people don't think of it that way. Maybe that's what we'll try to change.
And that's the goal. That's the goal.
That's the goal. So I shifted to sales. And I graduated with a professional sales degree right before my 3rd summer. And I had a lot of people at that point, even family members, grandmas, and they were like, "When are you gonna go get a real job?" I'm sure you've all heard that, a big boy job or a real job. You've graduated college now. What's next? And I was like, well, I mean, this is a big boy job. It's a real job. I'm making more than I've ever made. The average income. What's the average income in America right now? Is it 40,
50, 60 grand, something like that?
like my second summer, I think I made 60,000 in like 3.5 months or something. I'm like, I'm making what the average American makes right now. And I'm just kind of scratching the surface. Like, I knew I could do better. I was like scratching my surface of my potential. So I was like, but it was a turning point for me. One, yeah, talking to Dave Royce, but two, like, I have a college degree now. If I'm going to do this, like, I need to be good at it, basically. Like, I need to, like, if I'm going to do it, I need to be all in. I was kind of like most people are. You're kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out when you first start. So I went in every single day. My goal was to do at least 400 accounts that year, but every single day I had a reminder on my phone go off that said 400. Every single morning at 10 a.m. so that I'd see it and be like, oh yeah, I'm here to like level up my game. Ended up selling 500 that year. So, and I tore my meniscus that summer, middle of the summer playing basketball, and I couldn't walk for like a month very well. But I didn't miss a single day. I would just limp. I segued, so I finally got a Segway that summer. I would just segue, and if doors had lots of steps, I would just skip them and kind of limp to each door. Didn't miss a single day, hit that 500 goal. That felt super good, going through adversity, right? So then fourth year, I was like, all right, I'll do this again. This goal thing and commitment thing kind of works. So I'm going to go for 700 sales this year. This was 2019. And I ended up at 800. Like, I always like got that goal a little bit early. So then just like, oh, I'll push for the next step up. And that was the year I went to like that was my first time going to the, at Aptiv, it's called the Masters. There's always like some kind of competition. I know Vivint had them, right?
Yeah, the cup.
The cup and that kind of stuff. This was my first year going to the championship. I ended up losing, but I had taken down like all the behemoths at Aptiv, like the Brigham Lindsay, who sold 1,300 account or 1,200, and Brad Farr sold 1,300. And I was just kind of this kid that nobody knew who I was from nowhere that beat all these like top legends. Ended up losing in the final like 41-36, but like the fact that I got there, I was like, dude, I can beat anybody. Like why not me? And I was like, I think I did 250 sales that month. Golden Door was 1,000 accounts. And I was like, I could get Golden Door. I'm like 3 more weeks and I'll have it. And we had a ton of like trips planned with my wife and I, and she's like, no, like we have all these trips planned. We can't get our refund. We'll go get it next year. We'll get the 1,000 accounts in the Golden Door in 2020. Like no matter what. I was like, all right, fair enough. So going into your, when did you do it? So fifth year was when I did it. So I kind of gone from 500 to 800 to 2020. Obviously we know what happened that year with COVID, crazy year. But
yep.
But I committed that I was going to get Golden Door and get 1,000 accounts no matter what, and I did it. Did 1,013 that year. Wearing a mask in Fort Lauderdale, Florida in 100-degree heat.
Woof.
But we got it done, baby.
Got it done. Were you good about wearing your mask?
Of course not. Who wears a mask outside? I
was horrible at that.
But like, if I'm inside, whatever. But like, we're outside, by ourselves. Like, I'm not gonna wear it. But I always had it on me. And if mirroring's a big thing in sales.
Yeah.
If somebody came out in a mask, I'd put it on. If they didn't, cool. It worked just fine.
Yep. Well said. You've spoken a lot to the psychology of it. Goals, identity, just pushing yourself a little bit more each and every day, each and every summer. Speak to me more about the psychology, though, of mindset with a Golden Door winner. What does it take?
So that's broad, but you're saying psychology of just like...
The winner.
Just the winner?
Yeah.
Number one, you have to want it. Like if you are looking into how do I become someone who gets a Golden Door, like you have to want it more than anything else. It can't just be it'd be cool if I got a Golden Door. That'd be sick. Like you have to like actually want it and do whatever it takes to get it. Like actually put the work, like, yeah, everyone works hard. I know that's kind of cliche to say you got to work harder, but it's just managing yourself and your time and your daily schedule in a way that's like the most efficient as possible. Break it. I think goal setting is big for the mindset and psychology of a Golden Door winner. Like for me, I do. Yeah, everyone knows this is the long-term goal, right? That's the big goal of the summer, but you can't get to the Golden Door unless you set a bunch of like smaller goals. You have to set, in my opinion, daily, weekly, even like streetly, like on each street or each or half the day. Like this morning, I'm going to sell this much, or on this street. So I narrow it down. Maybe that doesn't work for everybody, but I think that's huge. Having goals that are not only like a big summer long goal, but having those short daily goals too.
Well, breaking it down, it makes it less, daunting of a task to do.
Of course, like you literally put one foot in front of the other, right? It's like when I try and do a street, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get 2 sales on this street, and then maybe I do it. I'm like, sweet, let's do it again. Or maybe I didn't do it. That street kicked my butt. I'm like, all right, this street, I'm feeling it. I'm gonna get one on like this cul-de-sac right here. Like, just make a bunch of small term goals, and then if you do all those, pretty soon you've hit your medium goals, and then when you do all those, you hit your big goal.
Amazing, powerful stuff. So Jake, I was chatting with our boy Aubert.
Yeah,
L'Espérance. Shout out,
Aubert.
We love you. Absolute stud.
It's huge stud. Love that guy.
He was telling me you are very, very technically skilled in the area of selling, and
technically skilled.
You've talked a lot about you got your degree in sales, literally. What did it take for you to become really proficient in sales?
I think the biggest thing is time. I'm 8 years in now. It's like you can get proficient at any technical skill if you put 10,000 hours into it, right? It's not like the number they say. So I've just put 10,000 plus hours into this. Like I've, all the hours during the summer, all the hours in the off season I spend like training my reps and teaching them how to do it, and reading sales books in the off season. And I got a degree in this too. But the biggest thing I think is just number of doors knocked, time put into it. And like you learn things from like the training manuals and stuff and from your leaders, but a lot of it you just learn on the doors. Like over time I've learned how to like read people. Are they going to be a buyer? Are they not going to be you get more efficient with just like when you're brand new, you're just trying to figure out what to say.
Yeah.
But when you're a second year and up, then you can focus on like the customer and like what's their body language doing? Like, what are their tones? Are they asking questions? Are they involved? Mm-hmm. Are they going to be a buyer? Are they not? Like, you can pick up on these things a lot quicker just with like practice and repetition equals proficiency, I would say.
Excellent. What's your favorite sales book?
Oof. I don't know if I have a favorite.
Top 5.
But like the book that like got me going and focused on goals was called Goals by Brian Tracy. If you guys have read that one.
Great book.
Fantastic book. But I love a lot of the, Grant Cardone, Zig Ziglar, Brian Tracy, all those guys that just tell you to go do it pretty much.
That's how it is. There's
Lenny Gray, Door to Door Millionaire is great for those in pest control too, because he literally talks about selling pest control. Mm-hmm. So another classic, Door to Door Millionaire.
Always.
What's up, Sam Taggart here with Door to Door Con 7 coming up right around the corner, January 25th through the 27th. Get your tickets today at ddcon.com. We've got amazing speakers on sales training, leadership and scaling your business, recruiting, and how to really go be the best version of yourself. Don't hesitate. Get your tickets today.
So now kind of diving into the specifics of like a pest control sale. What would you say is the most important piece to a pest control sale?
The most important piece of a pest control sale, I would say value, like building value with that customer. Because if you show them like where they are to where they could be, that's kind of true in any sales. But here's the bug level at your house now. But if you do this, here's what it can be. I just think building value in what you can offer that person as a service, because it's a service industry, right, in pest control. So, which also helps with like keeping your contract value higher if you sell on value rather than just selling on like money. I'm gonna do it this cheap, so buy. You'll get sales, but like then you're making them cheap, right? You're kind of selling yourself short. So if you can build on value, I think that's the most important part.
That's absolutely incredible. Showing them where the need is and then where the solution is.
Yeah, where the need is and how you can solve it.
Yeah.
Boom.
Which is amazing too, because, I think you're like the 13th Golden Door winner that we've interviewed, and it's
lucky number 13.
It's kind of let's go to 3 again. And it's crazy to see this is all kind of the same thing. It's like problem, solution, tie down.
Boom.
It's like a simple formula that all of them have. So guys, if you're listening to that, listen to what he's saying. What was the hardest objection for you to learn to overcome in your 8 years of knocking?
I think the hardest objection is just, there's probably two. I think the two hardest for me for a while at first were like it's like the I do it myself and I don't really need it kind of people. Because if they have a company, they already know they need it, I could switch them. Mm-hmm. Or if they have bugs but don't have one yet, then I have the solution, easy. But it's the ones that don't think they need it or don't think they see any bugs. And maybe like the I do it myself. I know there can be a little bit similar, but that's probably the hardest. Took me a few years, but then once you got that helped me elevate to keep the volume high and sell double digits every day.
Mm-hmm. Do you have ways you overcome that? Is it more of a prospecting thing? Do you kind of brush those along quicker, or what does that look like for you?
It's more value, right? We just talked about that, why value is the most important. So, and it's also, I will close quicker because they're either going to like be a buyer or not if I can build value real quick. So I'll just tell them what I'm doing. Here's what the service entails. Here's how it can help you. Like, does that sound good? And I read it from there. If they're just like, if you get 2-3 super hard no's right there, I'm like, okay, no worries. Have a good day,
Yeah.
Those are usually like the do-it-yourselfer people are a little bit, usually known as to be a little bit tougher. Mm-hmm. But the key is to build value and see how you can help them. Like, yeah, here's what you've been doing. Here's what I can do different. Give me a shot. Mm-hmm. Kind of a vibe,
Absolutely. Now kind of moving on to closing. What did it take for you to get good at closing the sale?
Good question. Closing the sale for me came pretty natural. Once I just kind of went through the trainings and learned how important closing was. And it's just kind of you just got to send it. Just send it. Send it for the boys.
For the boys.
Closing's all mental. It's just you either do it or you don't. I think the longer you wait to close someone, the less of a chance you have to sell them. So my mantra is, you always hear the always be closing, right? In all the sales books, ABC. But it's true. Like I will close people before there's a lot of sales reps that have been doing this for years that wait till the sale is like all the way lined up and then close. Where I disagree with that. I say close like quick.
What does that look like?
Like, let's break the sale down. In a pest control sale, there's like 4 parts to a sale. There's the intro, the price, the service, the close. Or you could do service and then price. It doesn't really matter. I usually err more on doing service first so I can build value. But most guys will do all of the intro, all of the service, all of the price, kind of get them to agree and then close. But for me, I usually close after service. I'll just do the intro and then the service and close, start filling them out, start like setting up a time tomorrow. And then almost always they're going to be like, wait, well, how much is it? I'm like, oh, it's the best part. And I go into price and then I close again. But because I close early, it just gets the wheels turning a lot quicker, right?
That's powerful.
Heck yeah, dude.
That's powerful. Well, because the thing is, and we've talked about this on the podcast before, is like, because after kind of the first no or the first pushback, that's when you're selling.
Like resolve, ace,
that's
closing.
When you roll up your sleeves, you're getting in the mud.
Let's get to work.
Yep, that's when
it's time to throw in some stuff. Yeah,
because that's what you're getting paid for. And I've said this on the podcast too. The element of persuasion, the element of influence is what you're paid for in this job. If you're just getting pure laydowns, you're not really much different than an order taker at McDonald's. No offense, you guys, but that's how it is.
True.
And there's some guys that they can make good money doing that, but it's a lot more work that way. Where if you just learn how to freaking close, then the whole world of abundance is open to you. So let's dive back into that. So you're going intro, service, and then
close. Yeah.
And then they bring up price.
Yeah.
Well, what's cool is because it's not a big deal at that point. It's like, oh yeah, that's the best part. And then
here's the price.
We have the high contract. Do you ever get very much pushback on that? Like, oh, whoa, like that's actually kind of high.
Sometimes. So I start pretty medium high, I would say. We offer like 4 packages. I usually start at the second to highest one, and then I try to upsell at the very end. That's another thing I think everyone should be doing. Like, you might as well try to upsell.
Yeah.
Because at the end, you've already got them sold. You're already buddies at that point.
You've never bought a car. So the way it works is you buy the car and then you go into the finance office.
Oh.
Where the finance office, that's where they sell the warranties. That's where they sell insurance and all those things.
All the boring stuff.
So all the boring stuff after you've bought, because you've already
bought. You're already warmed up. So
that's where they make a lot of money.
Why not apply the same principle to our sales every day, right? So, yeah, at the very end of a sale, I'll try to upsell on the mosquito package that will come every month during the summer. Like, so it just adds more revenue. And they'll either say yes or no to that. But if 30% of them say yes, then sweet. You just made an extra 30%.
Absolutely. Get to the yes, upsell, another secret hack to getting extra revenue in.
But closing early, it's just like, it's all mindset. You just got to do it. If you're uncomfortable, just try it. This is a funny story. The day I sold 33, which is my highest volume selling day, my very first close too was like payment. Usually payment is like the very last close people get. I was like kind of doing my intro and I was like, okay, do you want to do a check or a card? That was just like my first close, which like sounds, I don't normally do that, but that day I was just so confident. I was in the zone and I was like, okay, your neighbors are some are paying with cards, some are paying with check. What do you want to pay with? And they're like, they hadn't even heard the service or the,
so you're going intro.
On this day, I don't normally do that.
Intro hard close.
On my best day, I was like intro payment. And they were like, oh, I guess I'll go grab a check. Or grab my credit card. So like, what do you guys do? And then I go into the service.
They're closed, so like, and they don't even know what you're doing.
They didn't even know what I was doing yet. That's just the power of closing early. And no, I don't recommend always make payment your first close. That was kind of an anomaly day, but
then it's also the power of confidence.
But it's the power of confidence and closing early. I think those two things are huge. So my general self, do the service, build value, and then confidently close. And then you can do price and objections and all that because it's inevitably going to come.
Absolutely.
But confidence.
Confidence is key.
Just send it.
Yeah. So for like learning overcoming objections such as price and whatnot, did you have memorized rebuttals that you used? Was it just kind of a feel it out per person kind of thing, or what did that process look like?
A lot of it is feeling it out, yes, but at one point early in my sales career, I don't know if it was year 1 or year 2, but I kind of teach all my reps to do this now. I made like a chart of like all the common concerns you get. It's always the same stuff, right? It's I got to talk to my wife. It's too expensive. Not seeing bugs. Mm-hmm. Those kind of. So I made a list of all the common concerns, and then like a resolve I could do for those, and then an ace I could like throw in to sweeten the pot, and then a close. So that way I was like never repeating. And if I could, I would bundle it. Like for example, the wife concern. I got to talk to my wife, right? I would do like the email close specifically with that one, and I would throw in a bug that would make the wife happy. So I try to like bundle them. So for example, I got to talk to my wife. I would say, well, 99% of women hate bugs. I'm sure your wife's one of them, right? And they chuckle just like you did. I'm like, tell you what.
You got me.
Let me throw in this. We have this extra service that takes care of the plants, the bugs that eat the plants. I'll throw this in for your wife, and I'll email this to you so you can show your wife what's your email. So see how smooth it's smooth like butter that is?
Because you're still moving them forward in the sales process.
But like you make it logical. That's one thing I'm good at, I think, is making my resolves like logical. And I kind of pair it with the concerns. That makes sense. It's not always perfect, but if I can make it make sense.
Absolutely. You have to. That's absolutely powerful. So what are some other, I guess, underrated, underutilized sales techniques?
Underrated, underutilized. These are good questions. I think justification's a big one that we don't usually get taught as sales reps. So one thing I kind of learned on the job is that the deeper you are with somebody in a sale, the like stronger and more emotional and stronger like justification should be for like dropping the price or something. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like the very first time, like the very first objection, you can just kind of a lighthearted rebuttal and a lighthearted close, but if you're like, they've said no 4, 5, 6 times, you've been talking for 20 minutes. At that point, you can make it a little like more emotional. Like, Steve, man, help me out, man. Like, why aren't you buying? You know, you can get kind of, Janice, why are you being so hard on me? You know, and it kind of makes them laugh and it breaks their wall a little bit, and then it like allows you to go farther. So that's another kind of underrated thing is you can get more emotional as the sale goes on, and you can like make your justifiers stronger for like adding in more aces. And
So like when you do that, is that more kind of like jokingly, or is that actually like?
It's a little bit of both, right? It's like you're lighthearted and joking, but like you're like
Karen.
I pat my heart when I'm like deep in. It's like emotional. It's like sympathy closing, right?
Karen, you're taking food off
Karen.
my kid's plate.
I'm like, give me a shot. I won't let you down. This is gonna be good. And then they're like, oh, all right. I'll grab my checkbook. Yes, Karen. Thank you. What's your last name, Karen?
But I have other projects I'm working on around the house.
Karen, this is one less project you have to do. Or, you know, and they're like, all right, I'll do it.
That's amazing.
So make it, I have fun with it. That's what makes this job fun for me is that I'm talking to different people every day, and no one day is alike because every door is a Mario Kart mystery box behind it. You don't know what you're going to get when you knock on that door.
Yeah. What's the craziest thing that's happened? Or what was the wildest thing in that Mario box?
I don't know, dude. Over 8 years, there's been a lot of wild stuff. There was one guy that called me he like bought from me, but then at the very end, I think he was bipolar or something because he was like really nice. We were vibing, and then he just shifted to like,
get out of here.
Even more. He's like, how do I get the information off that without cracking your iPad in half? And I was like, whoa, dude, like I'll just delete it. You're good.
This is like after
I was like, you don't want
payment? Or?
Yeah, he gave me payment, but I hadn't submitted the sale yet. Like we were just kind of going. We were like, it's at the end of the sale. He'd paid. I put payment in. And then he like flipped a switch. And I was like, easy, dude. I deleted it in front of him. I was like, you're good. No worries. You don't need to like.
Wow.
He was like shaking with rage out of nowhere. I was like,
just like somewhere along the line, he's like, I got sold. Hell no, I didn't get sold.
So I leave, go about my day. I think I got, all right, fine. I'll go sell his neighbors. I think I sold 5 of his neighbors or something.
Wow.
And then that was probably like 5 o'clock at night. It's now 9 o'clock at night. I went to my car to leave. He had followed me with his car, like trapped me in, so I couldn't leave because there was like one way out of this little parking lot I parked in, and like started freaking out that I was a wandering gypsy, and I was just laughing. I was like, dude, I'm just trying to go home and eat dinner with my wife. Like, what are you doing? He calls the cops on me, and he's like, there's a wandering gypsy here. He's a scam artist. So I called the cops back. I was like, yeah, this guy's holding me hostage. Do you want to come check this out? And they're like, yeah, we're on our way. And of course they let me go. This dude's a psycho. But
that's wild.
That came to my mind first. And you're like, what's the weirdest experience?
That one is
getting called
weird.
A wandering gypsy and kind of being held hostage
The
for like 20
wandering
minutes.
gypsy. That reminds me of a sale that I had one time. It was wild. I'm talking to this guy, and he's kind of like giving me a hard time. I don't know. But then,
being a punk,
because I'm telling him, I'm like, yeah, your neighbor across the street, like Guadalupe or something. She got it, and so she actually came over, and she basically like sold it for me. She's like showing the app and like all these things. She's like closing the sale. I'm getting the paperwork in. We're finishing it up and everything. She had left, and then like out of nowhere, he's just like, I'm not doing this. What? Like the flip of the switch is it that one's a brutal one. It's like, well, why?
It's the switch.
And he just wouldn't give me a why, and it's just like, no, I just don't want to do it. Like, is it the money? Like, be honest. Like, let's level with each other here. What is it?
He was like, the price is good. I have bugs, but no.
Like, no. Like,
there's no reason.
Like, just no reason out of nowhere. You just some people just don't want to be sold, unfortunately. So
some people are punks. Yeah.
We got the wandering gypsy.
Yeah, that was just so
that's
random.
Hilarious. Yeah, that's wild. So it's one of those things too. A lot of people would be in a situation like that, and they would get very flustered. It's like, if they lost a sale like that, it would immediately be the end of their day, or it'd be the worst part of their day, or the guy's boxing them in, and all of a sudden the whole world is crashing down. But like, it's amazing seeing, it's like the perception and the mentality is like, this guy's just ridiculous. This is hilarious.
You just laugh. I'm like, maybe that guy's life's much harder than mine or something.
Yeah. How do you develop that kind of mentality?
Focusing on like your goals and what you want to achieve more than what that person did to you. Like the way I overcome these things. Luckily, in that instance, that was the end of my night. Yeah, I was trying to go home, but a lot of times it's the middle of your day, right? Where you'll get yelled at, screamed at. Hopefully, most people are nice to us, but
yeah,
it's not always true, right? We're door-to-door salesmen.
We know what's up.
We know what's up. My biggest thing is I'm not gonna let this guy prevent me from making money, or else he beat me. I'm not gonna let that guy beat me today. Like I'm gonna go beat him. You know, like you don't buy from me, cool. I'm gonna go sell both your neighbors, and all their bugs are gonna come to you, or sure, he didn't buy. That was weird. He yelled at me, but you just kind of you shake it off, you brush it off, and keep moving on.
Well, it's powerful because it's not only like a brush off technique, but it's a springboard.
It can be a springboard. Like it might if it can motivate you, that's even better. Like, man, I'm gonna go freaking sell everyone on the street besides that guy, and you know you could do that and springboard it for sure. If nothing else, though, like don't let it affect you. And that's easier said than done, I know, but just you know, you still have another 100 doors to knock. Just reset, you know? Be fake it till you make it if you have to, but don't let one guy, if that one guy beats you and costs you $3,000 you could have made that day, then you let him win. And I'm sure he's sitting on his couch happy that he, you know, yelled at some guy, and then he'll forget about you. They usually forget about us, I think. If you get yelled at, most of the time I think they forget about you in 5 minutes and then move on with their life. But if you let it affect you for, you know, a whole day, 5 days, a week, a month, or ruin your summer, like, don't do it. There's no fun in that. That only like ruins your summer. So
yeah, that's the ultimate
bounce back, springboard back, shake it off, and go make more money another way. Not him.
Amen. Amen. So Jake, I kind of want to shift things over into D2D Con.
Okay.
So January 25th through the 27th. Excited to have you there. Excited to welcome you back on stage for a third year. What can people expect from D2D Con?
They can expect hype. D2D Con, it's just a fun atmosphere of a lot of guys either that are in the top 1% of the top 1% if they got golden doors, or just guys kind of wanting to do that have the drive. You don't go to door-to-door con just for no reason. Like you go to like learn to improve. So people can expect, you know, a lot of great speakers, a lot of great, you know, events, activities, mingling with other people, meeting guys in other industries, and learning how to level up in your own industry from guys that have leveled up in theirs.
Absolutely. And it's fun too, because it's literally like, you know, gathering all industries, gathering of all companies. You're hanging with great guys, you're hanging with active guys, you're hanging with Vivint guys, you're hanging, you know, everyone takes off their hats and they're just, you know,
just bros.
We're just brothers.
You become who you surround yourself with, right? So why not you surround yourself with a bunch of other Golden Door winners?
Absolutely. Right? And it's awesome too, because, you know, we have abundance mentalities. You know, we're not holding back any secrets. Certainly didn't hold back any secrets in this podcast. You know, guys like Jake, open book, happy to talk to you, happy to talk to anyone, pick his brain, learn, you know, some of the things that maybe other questions that you might have had after listening to this podcast. He's a brilliant guy, brilliant salesman, and it's going to be the best place to go learn how to be a top performer is at D2D Con. And we're, again, very excited to have you there. Excited to welcome you.
Excited to be there. It'll be fun.
On the stage. So I guess before the podcast ends, what sort of like parting words would you give to the industry as a whole? What do you think the industry needs to hear right now?
I think the biggest thing is take the time to invest in yourself. Because you mentioned earlier, like one thing that you heard from O'Bear and one thing like you know about me is I have like those technical skills. If you don't have them, like learn them. Go, whether that's go read books or D2D University, go hit them up. Go, I don't know, find your team leader, your mentor. I do sales consulting too, which has been really fun. I like train guys how to like kind of similar to D2U, but smaller, of course. But hit me up if you want. I don't know, but go find some way to learn those skills. Don't just like look at the guys on stage and be like, all right, I'll try harder next year, and then don't change anything. Like go learn skills and then apply them the next summer and go get yourself the award too.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, guys, this has been Jake West, the Golden Door Deep Dive segment of the D2D podcast. It's been absolutely incredible. So we'll tune in and we'll see you at DDD Con this January.
Over and out.
Awesome.